What's up, guys? Expel here, and today I'm going to be sharing with you 7 tips to help you succeed in Call of Duty Warzone solos. I know you guys have been really enjoying my Warzone Advanced Tips series, where I break down every movement that I have within Warzone, and hopefully, you guys can carry on some of that torch into your games. But today I've combed through the past 2 advanced videos, and I've taken a moment to grab some of those specific moments and, try to put it down on paper for you guys, for the boys and the girls and the gals. Listen, I'm not getting weird out here. So that's what we're going to be going over today. And if you do go on to enjoy that, it'd be greatly appreciated if you consider dropping the video a like and maybe subscribing with notifications on to the channel. That way you get notified every single time I post a video. I would like to remind you that I do have timestamps in the description down below if you ever want to just skip my face. You can also use the YouTube playhead. Past that, please do me a favor and go follow your boy over on twitch.tv/iamexpel. You can find the link down to that down below. I don't know what I'm saying. Twitch.tv/iamexpel. I stream every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 9 a.m. all the way up until 2 p.m., which is when my videos go live on the YouTube channel. And you probably just missed my stream. What the fudge, bro? Why weren't you there? If you were there, dang, girl, you got a nice booty. I'm talking to you, Scott. Those jorts. That was weird. All right, just follow me on Twitter and stuff. Enjoy. Ladies and gentlemen, before we hop into the tips, I would like to remind you that not all of these tips are going to be 100% for you. And I know that sounds very scary, but these tips were made for the general public and for pretty much as many people as I could possibly make them for. You may find that these tips are something that you are already implementing. And if it is something you're already implementing, first of all, congratulations. You're doing a lot better than most players that are playing Warzone. But if you're not implementing them, then that's fantastic. Let me know in the comments down below if any of these were very helpful for you, or if you're using these tips and they've helped you out in any scenario. Past that, if they're not helpful for you, please don't drop it in a comment down below and say, man, I knew all this already. Brother, I hate to tell you, but there's a big opportunity that you were still looking for tip videos. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you want an advanced tip video, we got that coming out. Just wait for it, baby. Just wait for it. Regardless, let's go ahead and jump in to the tips. This is going to be a little bit more of an intermediate set of tips, but regardless, let's hop in. At the number 1 spot, we have one of my favorites, which is dropping off the beaten path. Ladies and gentlemen, please do me a favor and stop landing hot places or places that have slowly become more and more hot. You might have found that at the beginning of Warzone, you've been dropping at certain places and there weren't people there. But as time went on, people have started showing up there because they want to stop landing at hot drops. And that's what you should be doing as well. Regardless, don't be scared to switch up your spot to see what has the best options for yourself. I've found myself trying to land at different spots within the circle and seeing if it works a bit better. In my video yesterday, you'll see that I used this exact tactic. I dropped somewhat close to Boneyard, but during the early game, everyone is pretty much set on the instant gratification of those early kills, and they don't even think to land at the outer edges of the map. Anytime you watch me play solos, I tend to drop somewhere that either has a lot of loot for one person, that way I can grab a ton of cash, or has a couple of contracts. That way I will have the opportunity to get that cash a little bit later on. But also, we want to make sure that there's a ton of loot. Ladies and gentlemen, drop somewhere that you know you're going to get loot. That is one of the biggest things in my personal opinion. Number 2, ladies and gentlemen, we have something that a lot of you will never learn, even if I say it in this video, and that is going to be patience. For the love of God, be patient. Yeah, I'm talking to you guys that skipped the intro and jumped right into the stuff. Yeah, I'm talking to you. Be motherflipping patient. But more importantly, I'm sorry, I don't mean to get upset with everybody that's bringing my watch time down. Make sure that you're not shooting at people just because you see them. At times, there's going to be enemies that are in your line of sight, but they may be in a situation that will allow them to get away fairly easily. They may be just about to like run behind cover, or they may be in a vehicle that will allow them to get a quick getaway. The smartest thing to do is to make sure that if you're going to take the shot, that you're confident enough in your own gun skill that you'll be able to eliminate the target. Recently, I've found myself using an RPG to combat this. Whether I'm playing in solos or any other mode, it's very, very useful. A lot of people tend to get upset over the RPG, but if you're running EOD, then there really isn't anything to fuss about. I use the RPG on most of my classes because I tend to put in a lot of shots, but end up being like 1 or 2 shots from killing the enemy. However, with the RPG, you're going to have the opportunity to hit a little bit of splash damage beside the target and at least have hope of downing them. This doesn't always work, especially if they have EOD. The RPG is a great tool for flushing out campers, blowing up vehicles, and a ton more. I highly recommend it, at least until the top tier players, fuss about it to the point to where they nerf it or they buff EOD even further. At the end of the day, it's a tool at your disposal, and you definitely should at least give it a shot. Tip number 3, I would like for you to listen. No, seriously, make sure to listen. In my first Solos tip video, I spoke on the heartbeat. While they're still viable, I highly recommend that you don't solely rely on this stuff. These tools are super, super great and everything, but when you solely rely on them, you tend to die. In this game, intelligence is everything, and it all starts with our senses: hearing, seeing, smelling. Please don't smell the TV. Anyway, when it comes to close encounters with the enemy, sight comes in second to sound. 100% second to sound. You got to be hearing. You want to put yourself in a situation where not only you're very quiet, you're crouching when needed, not stomping around constantly when in buildings, but also make sure you can hear everything that's going on around you. The ongoing joke within the Call of Duty community right now is that literally no one has a microphone. And to be honest, it's kind of the truth. But what's worse than not having a mic? Not having earbuds, not having a headset that'll at least allow you to hear what's going on around you. When using the speakers on your television, on your monitor, whatever it may be, everything's going to sound like it's coming from a single place, right in front of you. Now, this isn't a plug or anything, but I do have an Amazon link in the description of the video if you're interested in seeing some of the headsets that I recommend. Personally, I use the Bose Quiet Comfort 35 Mark II. Yes, that's just like a regular pair of headphones, and I pair it with the Astro A40 mix amp. You can do this with the Astro A40 mix amp. You can put it with pretty much any set of headphones, earbuds, whatever it may be. You just plug it in. It's mostly plug and play. I don't think it 100% works with all earbuds, but there's a good opportunity that yours might. So give it a shot. I highly, highly recommend it. And there's a ton of other stuff down there as well as just, the A40s, the A50s. You can also get things like Turtle Beach. I personally recommend the Astros though. Regardless, on to tip number 4. Tip number 4 is going to be, don't be scared to do contracts. Ladies and gentlemen, in my first tip, I mentioned that I like to do contracts in solos. What I didn't tell you is that I do a lot of contracts in solos. Contracts are a fantastic way to grab cash throughout the game. Personally, when the game's just starting, I'll find a drop that has maybe a scavenger contract. Not only do these contracts usually start at around a $2,000 price point, they also give you a gas mask as well as the opportunity to get some early loot that you really wouldn't have an opportunity to get otherwise. Now, while making your way through the match, I found there's like a couple of ways you can play it. You can grab the bounty contract and you can rush into gunfights over and over, hoping up to rack up a crap load of cash. That way you can have everything you've ever wanted. Yes, even that golden pony. Or you could use the more passive route on the bounties and only use them for knowledge and allow yourself to stay away from the specific enemies that you get on the bounties. The scavenger contract on the other side will always be a good option, but the recon contract comes in clutch in a lot of situations. Generally, I find myself having to run to the circle constantly in these games as I end up in these long, drawn-out gunfights. However, when you do the recon and you stack them up until you know every single circle the game is gonna give you, you do a lot better. I would be weary of using them though, as whenever you actually start the contract, you land on that recon, you start it up. What happens is a red flare will shoot up right above your head, which I'm assuming a lot of you already know, but I do want to remind you, a red flare is going to shoot up above your head, but also the enemies, I think within about maybe a 200, 250 meter radius, they all get a message that says that there's a recon that's been signaled in their area. So be on the lookout for enemies every single time you do those. Make sure if you have the opportunity to get cover while you're doing the recon that you take that opportunity. So while contracts can be dangerous altogether, I think they're definitely worth your time to at least give them a chance in your matches. At the end of the day, you may find they weigh more on the useful side. Number 5 is use your plunder. I'm sure I'm going to get a lot of flack of this in the top of the comments, where people tend to say, hey, I know, I'm not dumb. But I think it's going to be really useful for the vast majority of viewers. For some reason, people don't use their plunder right. I don't know what the deal is, but please, God, use your plunder right. In my opinion, people are going very, very overboard on the kill streaks at the moment. I know what I'm saying right now goes directly against what I said in my most recent tips video, but spamming UAVs constantly is not going to do as much, whenever you get into the high tier player category. At some point, most people know to run Ghost. What this means to you is that you can save a lot of money and just buy UAVs when you feel they are going to be the most useful. Examples of this would be when you're, going to run up to a cluster of buildings, or as you come closer to the end of the game, or even a lot near the beginning as well. Something great to remember is that players literally cannot have drop kits within the first 3 minutes of the match. If you have enough money, as well as some decent weapons, I highly recommend investing in a UAV off the rip and taking care of the enemies that are the closest to you. This will not only allow you to drop some kills, but will also get you some more loot and some more cash. When it comes to some of the other options in the buy station, however, I would like to remind you to don't forget and don't overlook the ammunitions box, the munitions box. I find myself using the munitions box almost every single game, ladies and gentlemen. Seriously, it is dope. I go through an immense number of bullets and rockets when in gunfights, and you definitely don't want to get caught with your pants down, so I buy a munitions box. Tip number 6 is going to be, please remember, use the items that are the best for your playstyle. I know that sounds a little dumb, but hear me out. A lot of you love to check out videos from other creators and streamers. Heck, some of you may have even checked out my most recent class setup video on the M13. And while these are normally fantastic setups, it's best to remember that you don't play like every single person whose content you consume. A lot of the people you watch are going to be 10 times better than you and may have classes that are best used for rushing. You may see perks or weapons that they have and think, oh, seems like something I could use. But you use it and you find out that it has an outrageous amount of recoil. And this happens a lot, an outrageous amount of recoil, because the intended user is usually someone a lot higher skilled than yourself. So at the end of the day, you have to make your own decisions on the weapons you pick up as well as the perks you put on your class. If you're more of a slow-paced player, put on Ghost. If you find yourself unable to get in those last few shots, put on Frangible Wounding. There are a lot of options in these classes, and that's something Infinity Ward really has done a fantastic job on. I don't know what I'm saying. Remember to do what's best for you and best for your playstyle, and you should see yourself start improving. But remember, thinking outside the box and trying new things can never hurt. And that leads us to our last tip. Ladies and gentlemen, this is something that everyone overlooks. Don't forget to warm up. Tip number 7, don't forget to warm up. I know this may seem like a more simple tip, but it's something a ton of people don't do. If you ever come out to one of my live streams and you get there pretty early at the beginning of the stream, you may notice something. I'm doing a warm up. Now, everyone can warm up differently. However, since I'm playing on the free version of Warzone on my PC, I utilize the training modes they've given to us. I really like to hop into the Battle Royale practices and try as many different weapons as I can until I reach the last 2 players remaining. I take that opportunity to quit. That way I don't have to deal with the 3 to 4 minute end screen of the game. If I don't feel comfortable with my aiming abilities after the first game, I run it again. And at the end of the practice, my goal is to be genuinely just happy with the shots that I'm hitting. Just happy. That's it. You don't have to be a god, right? You know, I don't want to spend an hour practicing or anything, but maybe, you know, the first 10 minutes of hopping on, that way, you know, you feel a little bit better. Doing whatever you can to put yourself in front of as many targets as you can without any repercussion is really the best way, in my opinion, to get ready for any battle royale game. Alrighty, guys, that is going to do it for the video. If you did go on to enjoy the video, please do me a favor and drop the video a like, subscribe if you're new around here, as well as turn on notifications. That way you get notified every single time I post a video. Also, feel free to follow me over on Twitch. I stream every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 9 a.m. EST all the way up until 2 p.m. Twitch.tv/iamexpel. You can also follow my Twitter, join my Discord, all linked down below in the description, along with all of my other social media. Thank you guys immensely for watching. I will definitely be catching you tomorrow in the next video. Thanks so much, guys. Peace.